So the Samsung Galaxy S20 was just announced. They look absolutely gorgeous, but I still stand by my original video from the other day stating that the Galaxy S10 Plus is the better deal. For under $700, you're getting a device from last year that's just gonna feel as fast and as good as these upcoming smartphones. Now, if you really must have the brand new Galaxy S20, you've had your mind and your eyeballs set on it, I truly feel the Galaxy S20 regular is the phone you wanna go for. All three of these devices are gonna have a very similar design. Bezels thinned out. It has that beautiful dynamic AMOLED display, which looks just as good as the display on the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. All of them are now using the Infinity O directly in the center of the screen. This allows each one to have a front-facing camera in the middle, 10 megapixels on the S20, S20 Plus, 48 on the Ultra. I feel like 48 is a bit overkill for a front-facing camera, but the more expensive version of the S20 definitely has it. Now, the interesting thing was 120 Hertz. It works, it's there, but it only works in full HD. The moment you try to go to QHD, it automatically disables 120 Hertz and puts the refresh rate at 60 Hertz. On top of that, you have a very similar button placement to the Galaxy Note 10 with everything being on the left-hand side. Now, if you decide to go with the Galaxy S20, the design and form factor is perfect. Like 6.2 inches feels perfect in the hand, screen's big enough, it's pocketable, it's where you want to be in life. The 6.7-inch S20 Plus is also usable, very similar to the form factor on the S10 Plus, but definitely a two-hand phone. The Ultra, on the other hand, is massive, 6.9 inches. Like, you definitely need two hands to use this phone. For some reason, the Ultra felt a little bit too thick, and the camera bump on the back to house the bigger lens makes it protrude more so than the other two devices. So not only does it feel larger in the hands, it also feels a bit thicker. Now, straight up, the marketing material around these devices are focused on the camera. That's where the biggest upgrades are for these brand new smartphones. With the S20, S20 Plus, you're getting a 12 megapixel wide and ultra wide and a 64 megapixel telephoto lens. The S20 Plus does come with a true depth sensor, which is a time of flight, same with the Ultra, whereas the Galaxy S20 does not. That means it can determine the distance a little bit better and give you slightly better portrait mode pictures. The other thing to note is the new feature called Super Resolution Zoom. This allows you to zoom in a very far distance. You can do up to 30 times with the S20 and S20 Plus. It works very well. It's a lot easier to manage the shake when you're holding the phone at 30 times, and all of the processing is usually done in the background. Like when you're staring at that text in the far distance on your phone, it looks very pixelated, but as soon as you take the picture, the phone processes it and it looks significantly sharper. Now with the Ultra, you can do super resolution zoom up to 100 times, which is absolutely insane. Is it useful? I don't know. Are you a creeper? Are you gonna be staring in someone's window? Are you gonna be reading text across a football field? Maybe, but it works. The only problem is you definitely need a tripod because there is a significant amount of shake. I also noticed that the text is not nearly as crisp at 100 times using the bigger sensors in the Ultra compared to 30 times using the S20 or S20 Plus. So I did take some pictures with these smartphones and they look pretty good. I mean, it's hard to compare it to anything else since they wouldn't allow us to bring our other smartphones into the briefing, but they look like typical Samsung pictures, very bright and very contrasty. Now, the other end of the spectrum regarding these cameras is video. You can shoot 8K video using these smartphones. That's very impressive. But I feel like this is a very niche situation. 8K requires a lot of data. It records them in 4 gigabyte files. It also means you need very good lighting to have a good picture. I was able to record it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to take the 8K footage home with me because it saved it on the phone and not on the micro SD card, so I can't show it to you, but at least you can do it if you need to. Now, the benefit to shooting in 8K is all that information. So you could go back, look at your footage, and pull out 33 megapixel stills directly from your phone while using it, which I think is very cool to have. The other thing to note is that Samsung now has a pro mode with their video recording, so you can be very detailed with the settings that you're using. You can adjust the ISO, the aperture, all of that stuff when you're recording video. It looks like Samsung's trying to push this phone towards like the new upcoming creators who rely on their smartphones for YouTube. Battery life is kind of interesting this year because the size of these batteries are much bigger than the three S10 devices that came out last year. The smallest one, the S20, is coming with a 4,000 milliamp battery. That's the exact same size as the S10 Plus, but the difference is it's on a 6.2-inch display instead of 6.4. I'm expecting better battery life with the regular S20 than the S10 Plus from last year. Now, the S20 Plus has a 4,500 milliamp battery and the Ultra with a 5,000, but because they have bigger displays, I'm expecting all three devices to have very similar battery life. The other thing to note is performance. Like, all of these devices are going to be using the Snapdragon 865 with 12 gigabytes of RAM, so they'll be fast performers, but I don't feel like they're going to be significantly faster than the hardware we had from last year, so don't expect like crazy speed improvements unless you can utilize some sort of application that can take advantage of it. And one thing to note is that all three of these smartphones are coming out of the gate with 5G. You have no choice but to get the device with 5G unless you're in certain countries, but here in North America, no matter which S20 you buy, it's going to be 5G. And I feel like that's why this phone is more expensive this year compared to its predecessors. You're paying a markup for 5G. Now, obviously these are gonna be great smartphones. They are beautiful. They have some nice iterative updates. And I feel like if you have your mind set on the Galaxy S20, the entry-level model is the one you want to go with. It just offers you the best value for the price point. I promise you, you won't miss the other features of the more expensive ones. And if you're truly frugal, and you want the most value on a premium smartphone, and you have your mind on a Galaxy device, really think about the S10 Plus. It's probably gonna get discounted even more when this device launches. Stay tuned for the full review. Subscribe to the channel for that. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, which I just said, and I'll see you guys in the next video.